Hey folks, we're doing a real quick video here on sighting in the AK. Had a request from a subscriber, wanted to know about how to adjust sights and get a good zero with the SGL 31 in 545 by 39. Got an unloaded gun here, and I'm going to talk to you real quickly about what you need to do. The first thing is you want to move your sight, rear sight, back to the zero position. And on this case with the SGL, it's marked as that zero. All adjustments are made from a windage and elevation standpoint at the front sight post. So what I do is I go to a 25-yard mark, and I'll show you how I do this, but actually go prone, and we'll talk about why I do that when we do that part of it. So let's say I've got a good group, I've done all the fundamentals right, and I've got a good group, but it's left or right to the point of impact or high or low to the point of impact. So let's talk first about windage. Windage is adjusted by drifting the front sight left or right, depending on where you're trying to move that. And to be effective at that, what I would recommend is that you buy the quality tool. This is a Magmatic AK front sight tool, and it's made in the USA. You can see it's a big piece of steel, and it has this ability to move that part left or right, so you can really crank it down. Slides over the top here, locks, and you're able to turn the handle to allow yourself to push that. Now, what you want to remember is as you push that front sight tool and drift that windage, what's going to happen is every millimeter of movement is about 2.5 inches at 25 yards. Therefore, you want to be, you want to kind of make minute adjustments, and it's hard to do with an AK because this is not a precision kind of tool, so you're going to have to experiment a little bit, but it's minor adjustments on the windage side to do that. And again, a millimeter movement, which is not much, is going to give you about 2 to 2.5 inches at 25 yards. So that's how you do that. The second part from an elevation standpoint is this little bit will fit over the front sight post right there. And you're going to use that to adjust your elevation up or down. And when you're, again, at 25 yards, one complete revolution of that front sight, okay, so that's all the way around 360 degrees up or down, is going to move that point of impact about 2 inches, so at 25 yards, or 8 inches at 100. So you have to make that adjustment accordingly, assuming that you're at 25 yards. So if I make a complete revolution down, I'm going to move my point of impact up. So it is not as much of a precision sight as you would get with the AR, but again, it's a slightly different tool in my opinion. So we're now going to go to the range, and we're going to do this, and we're going to shoot what I would recommend doing and the way I'd recommend doing it, and then we'll take a look at that group. And I'm not going to make any adjustments today, actually, because the gun is where I want it. So that's a quick overview on sighting the AK. Highly recommend this tool. If you just go on and look up AK front sight tools, you'll find a bunch of places. I think Brownells and Midway and a bunch of other people have these. Very, very useful, very, very helpful, and you will save yourself a ton of grief by buying a quality tool made in the USA, and certainly very easy to use. So that's it. Adjusting sights. We're going to go to the range now, check that out, and give you some sense of how to do that and what the position is. And what I want to do now is show you the process that I use when going to establish the zero. You have a target at 25 yards away. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get the gun totally aligned with the target. You'll see that in just a minute. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go prone And when I go prone, I'm going to splay my body out so that my body is in line with the target, which will allow me to really be the most consistent I can be. A few things I'm going to focus on as I'm doing this process. One is getting that nice platform with my body splayed out. Two, focusing on a good sight picture. Three, focusing on pressing the trigger straight back, and as I do that, riding the reset as it resets forward, so not letting my finger out all the way off the trigger, and then really focusing on a good steady breathing and just being relaxed, being stable yet being relaxed. So we're going to go ahead and show it. So I'm in a prone position, going to a prone position, get my gun pointed straight onto the target, and I move down into a extended position whereby my legs are splayed out on either side. I bring the gun to where I want it, use my shoulders to provide a good base. Then I'm going to focus on my sight picture, breathing, and my trigger press straight back. Gun goes back on safe. Actually, I only had 5 rounds in there, but still the gun goes back on safe. And then I'm going to get back up and go down and check my target. So let's take a look at our target. So there we have our 5-round group. Again, I was aiming right at the dead center of the triangle, so got maybe a maximum of 1-inch spread. For me, this is fine. I'm not going to adjust windage or elevation, because this is really where I want the gun. Now, if you were getting some other issue, left, right, up or down, windage or elevation, that's where you go to that front sight and then make that adjustment. And again, as we're drifting the sight for windage, left or right, keep in mind that 1 millimeter change, how much that has from an impact standpoint of 2.5 inches. And then from an elevation standpoint, 1 complete revolution translates to about 2 inches at this distance, 25 yards. So basically, that's it. We want to get into a good prone position, and as we do that, then we want to really focus in on being able to work the fundamentals, which is sight picture, breathing, trigger press, and just being consistent. This is why I like the prone platform for sighting in the AKs, because it allows you to do those things and just slow down and focus on the fundamentals. So hopefully that helps, and if you'd like to see any other videos on specific topics, I hope you'll let me know. Again, appreciate all the support we've had from the channel, and also from just people liking the videos and giving positive feedback about that. So I really appreciate everyone doing that and supporting us in this venture. So, thank you, and as always, stay safe.